Still Sober with John Raven. Welcome. If you're a sober person, hope you're staying sober. If you're not a sober person, hope you're staying sane. My condolences to my mother and all the other Spurs fans, although my mom's not really a Spurs fan anymore necessarily. She quit watching the Spurs once Tony Parker and Manu retired, and you know Tim and Pop, like that was her team that she supported. But she did watch the playoffs and was very excited. Oh, this is very interesting. And I was like, okay, I'm not necessarily happy. I don't. I root for the Bulls, so like and they're a garbage fire right now, and I don't like I don't really like basketball. I've talked a lot of shit about the NBA because it sucks. The flopping, SGA with the Oklahoma City Thunder is the most talented pussy I've ever seen. With his flopping, hopefully the embarrassment that he suffered in the playoffs, he'll change and then just be, the best player in the NBA without looking like a big pussy. We can only hope, but it won't matter because I won't be watching. But the finals were great because the only two teams worth watching that made it actually feel excitement for were the Knicks and the Spurs. And Jalen Brunson is a fucking trooper, man. People shit on that guy, and they laughed at how much money the Knicks paid him. 4 years ago or whatever it was, however many years ago it was. And it's just they didn't, they were like, oh, that's the build around Jalen Brunson. Yeah, apparently you do. But it sucked because I didn't want to see Timothy Chalamet and Spike Lee happy. Specifically, Spike Lee. His last movie was so bad that I was too angry to walk out of it. Also, because my wife wanted to go and she was sitting next to me. And my wife has never apologized to me before after we walked out of a movie theater. It's always either, oh, that wasn't very good, or that was great, or this one, she actually turned to me and said, I am so sorry that we went to this movie. And so fuck him. But I'm a little happy because even though Vegas odds had Spurs and everybody else said Spurs in 4, Spurs in 5, I told my wife, I don't think so. It's probably going to be Knicks in 6. More than likely. Because they look like junkyard dogs, and they look like they've got the stare that they have scares me, and the Spurs are children, which means that's the whole thing. People are like, oh, so much for their dynasty. People are like mocking Wemby and the Spurs. It's like, yeah, okay. Wembanyama is 22. 3 of the other starters are 20, 21, and 20. Those motherfuckers are not going to do anything but get better and get older. And they've just, like, oh, we're young and we just went to the finals. What do you think they're going to do next year? They're going to be a pain in the ass. That's what they're going to be. They're going to be a pain in the ass for a long time. But in other news, Scotland, where my people are from, won in the World Cup, and they have invaded Boston. If you've been on Instagram, you've had to have seen it. And I know I'm sober, but I'm still a huge fan of a group of people that can drink 3 times the amount of what that city did for St. Patrick's Day and clean up after themselves. It is possible, apparently, to be a responsibly functional alcoholic. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know their personal lives, but they seem to be doing okay. I would not have been. Me at my peak, in my professional drinking career, I would have been a disaster, probably arrested. Or maybe not. Maybe in Boston, just kick him out. Just kicked out. I would have woken up in an alley. Like my wallet's gone, so are my pants. Maybe something like that. But anyway, don't have to worry about that because the Travis County and other organizations came together and ensured my success in being sober, or basically said, "Hey, maybe you can't drink anymore." So, and I'm thankful for them. Kind of more. I'm more thankful for my support network and just the concept of probation, not really the programs of Travis County, because county programs, like most governmental programs, are bloated and insufficient and kind of, you know, it's like, it was a great idea. We didn't execute. So, speaking of great idea, my puppy is being trained. I installed a little bell at the bottom of the stairs near the front door. My wife is trying to train the puppy to ring the bell when she wants to go outside and go to the bathroom. Now, that makes sense if when the dog went outside, she actually used the restroom. But right now, because we had to wait till the puppy was a certain weight, it had to be over 3 pounds before you could give her the medication for like flea and and all that, like internal parasites and fleas, like that medication, the Quattro, whatever the fuck it is. Oh, what happened? So we had to wait until that happened. So we got that. So it had to be at least 3 pounds. So the puppy finally hits 3 pounds. So we haven't had her outside. So now we're trying to get her acclimated to going outside and going to the bathroom outside. But she goes outside because it's like, holy shit, look at this place. It's huge. I love grass. There are things crawling in it, and now I'm crawling in it. There's I want everything in my mouth. That kind of thing. Just so good idea. The implementation of we'll see. So my wife's been working on her, like, ring the bell before she takes her out, and all this stuff. Dog doesn't ring the bell for her at all day for the past couple of days. Does not ring the bell. I come home. She's upstairs. She's excited to see me. Dog has just learned how to come down the stairs. So she comes down the stairs and accidentally hits the bell. I think accidentally. And my wife's like, "Did she ring the bell?" I'm like, "I think it was an accident, but I should probably take her out." So I go to grab the her harness, and she gets excited. And then I'm looking for the leash. I need to go grab a bag. I did just bring groceries in. I'm like, "Hang on, let me put the three items that I got at the grocery store that are refrigerated or that need to go in the freezer in the fridge. Let me get them in there first." And I go to get that. The dog goes back. She's like running around. She goes back to the bell, hits it, and then stares at me. Immediately, like, bring, garcon, door. Let's fucking go, sir. And then does it again because I'm not hurrying. And she goes, dang. She like hits it and then looks at me like, the fuck are we doing? So basically, that dog she thinks that that bell is specifically to summon her manservant. And that is all. That is all that bell is for. It's like, boy, get the door and walk me to that yard that I like. And by walk, I mean hang on for dear life on the leash while I try to run full speed half a block away to the yard that I like. And she does. Maybe someday she will consistently poop outside instead of one out of three visits. So that's going well. So if anybody was local, and by local I mean in the Texas, just central Texas, just how about Texas? We got an imminent threat alert that said critical and made a very loud noise and woke everybody up at fucking 3 a.m. and again at 6. And it is some bullshit because it's um well no, and also at midnight. It went midnight, 3 and 6, I think. Uh and it was some bullshit. So I just want to, and I don't know how they implemented that and how it got passed because I turned all of my notifications off. I turned all of those Amber Alert, everything else. I turned that shit off. Um, let's see. So if you want to make sure that that shit doesn't happen to you again, go and you have an iPhone. Go into settings, go into notifications, then scroll past all the apps. You've got all the apps telling you the notifications. Then they have the section, they have the government alerts. Under there, it's Amber Alerts. You can turn that off or keep it on if you're feeling guilty. You got emergency alerts, which I already had off. Public safety alerts, which I already have off. Test alerts. Imagine keeping test alert on. But above that is a new section that I don't remember seeing called enhanced alerts. And that's enhanced safety alerts. And then that's where the arrow is. You hit the arrow, and then they've got earthquake alerts, imminent threat alerts, and improved alert delivery. Share your approximate location with Apple to improve the timeliness and reliability of enhanced safety alerts. Hey, how about you go fuck yourself? You're already monitoring us and recording what I say. I mean, because you're waiting for me to say, "Hey Siri, what is an imminent threat alert?"
Here's an answer from dictionary.com and CarGov.
Thank you.
No problem.
See? She's listening and she's British because I don't like the standard voice. I wish he was an older gentleman like a butler. Yes, like Jarvis. But no, it's just a British guy that just says, "Oh, Thanks Langston or who the fuck, some limey dick. So British. Anyway, but that's how you turn them off with your imminent threat alerts. Thanks, iPhone. That must have come in with the last update that we had to do before being able to continue to do. It's like, oh, we got an update. Make sure you close everything. Why don't you close everything? You know what? My work is done for the day. I just told you how to get your turn off all the alarms on your settings because honestly, we're all like doom scrolling anyway. Things will pop up. We will know. You're going to find out. Like that's the other thing about reading the news. I always mention, to limit how much news you consume because people will think that that the world's getting worse, which it really isn't. It's always been kind of shit. And good at the same time. There's always been really, really bad things happen. The problem is that for a lot of it, the people getting shit on didn't have a voice or a way to say, "Hey, this sucks." And then also, you didn't know about every little bad thing that happened all over the world or in every single state. Like I wouldn't know about a an assault that happened on the streets in Branson. Like, what? There was somebody beat the shit out of a guy in Branson, Missouri, out outside of Yakov Smirnoff's club or whatever. Like you wouldn't know about that. But, the news travels around and they're like, "Oh, this will get your attention." You people like bad shit, don't you? Not really, but you like to click on it. I don't. Anyway, here it is in your face, and with a headline that's enticing and that doesn't give enough information, only gives parts of information, or it's trying to be it's trying to tell you the news, but the title is he thought he was going to have just a normal day, but then this happened, and that you know what, that doesn't work anymore, and I don't think anybody should fall for that shit anymore. I beg of you, when you see a headline like that, just say no, just ignore it. Don't. If you see a headline by some off brand bullshit website that considers itself a news site and then says things like the headline is beloved mother beloved sitcom mother actress dies, and or this beloved old school actress passed away, and then doesn't give a name, don't click on it. Do not reward these pricks. Let them come back to concise information and how headlines are supposed to be made. Click on real headlines, not made up by illiterates and AI, illiterates using AI to seem like they actually learned to read. And they didn't. Do not reward them anymore. Let's stop this bullshit. So that's all I got. I'm like looking. I'm getting distracted by the news. No, but that isn't all I got. What I mean is that you don't need the news because the big main things you're going to hear about from people at work. I can't not hear about it. There's somebody I work with who's really into Legos. So she told me about the 200,000 Legos that went missing, by these business owners who robbed a YouTuber. The business owners are backed by, the Mormon mafia. And I only know about this, and you'd think I'd only know like part of it and only hear about it once, but I'm getting that at work because one of the people I work with is a Lego freak. So I'm getting the Lego side from that. And then I come home and then I'm finding out about the same story from my wife, who's really into Mormon shit. She likes how fucked up Mormons are. Like, she's obsessed with it. It's like, these people suck. This is a cult. And I went, I know this is a cult. We've been calling them a cult in Southern Baptist churches since I was a kid. I knew that they were a cult when I was 5. I actually had to back off from what I was taught at an early age about Mormons, only to have it come back around. Turns out, kind of like an organized crime organization and cult mixed up into one thing, and then people go, and they're racist. I'm like, okay, that seems like kind of low on the list of shitty things that they do, but all right, and they're racist. But anyway, all I'm saying is you don't have to read the news so much. People will let you know. You'll come across it on accident while you're trying to watch dog videos on Instagram Reels. It's just going to happen. Also, not to compliment Google, but YouTube Shorts are way more targeted to things that I like. They got me down way more than Instagram Reels. Instagram, fucking Zuckerberg's cronies keep trying to force shit on me. I don't get thirst traps and politics on YouTube. YouTube feeds me entertainment. And they're like, they figured out a long time ago that I like fucking Skyrim and puppies and kittens. And, Instagram will feed me, some dogs, some cats. Has not hit me at all with any Xbox game I've ever played. And they are apparently not trying. Like I said, I don't think Instagram, I think they cheapen out on their algorithm. I think they're full of shit. All right. Well, my ADD is drugged me all the way to the end of this particular diary entry. Hope you're doing all right. I'm fine. I'm distracted by random shit. And, now we slowed down at work a little bit, and we're watching soccer every day for the World Cup, and that's a good distraction. Love watching World Cup. And of course, if you're going to watch it on Peacock and watch, the Telemundo version. It's just, the coverage better. There's no commercials. They don't give a shit. They're like, oh no, they speak Spanish. I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on anyway. You either understand soccer or you don't. Don't act like you need to know English. It also seems more appropriate, feels more festive and right. Like it's more appropriate to watch soccer with the coverage in Spanish. That's what I'm used to. Because growing up, the only time you'd see soccer is on Telemundo, and then you would stop and go, I'm going to watch soccer. I've never seen much of it. I don't even understand what's going on. Those are a lot of guys running around kicking the ball. I'm assuming they're going to score some point in the next 90 minutes. They've got to, right? Right? No? StillSoberPod@gmail.com for any questions or comments that are positive to neutral. We'll see you next week. Later.